clown rider with his trick mule is at a rodeo. This is in Quemado, New Mexico. The date is June 1940. Alright, we're looking at a police officer's portable holding cell in use, which really shows off early 20th century law enforcement practices. This was in Los Angeles in 1920. People did fall asleep standing up while dancing at Atlantic City Dance Marathon 1930s. Let's all paddle. July 27th, 1933. London school children are crowding into a paddling pool at King Edward Memorial Park, Wapping, during a heatwave. Okay, here we go. This is an ancient Maya zoomorphic stone from the late 1800s. This is Dowager Empress Maria Fyodorovna of Russia and Queen Alexandra of the United Kingdom at their home, Vidura, in Denmark. They didn't acquire it until 1906. The photo was possibly late 1900s. A man is working on a machine in a factory. It's New York in 1920. Albert Einstein, riding a bicycle in Santa Barbara, 1933. A young man misses a punching bag in 1910. A newlywed couple is posing in their wedding clothes in a barnyard. They're framed by a white picket fence. The picture was taken by travelling photographer Albert J. Ewing. This was in Ohio or West Virginia from 1896 to 1912. Walking on stilts is already impressive enough, but this man pushed it one step further and skated on stilts. Fritz Dietl was photographed practicing his skills with 4-year-old Pat Kemp at the Empire Pool in Wembley. It was 1937. Here we go. A pilot is holding a Kodak K-24 aerial reconnaissance camera during World War II. (1933) Kid in a cornfield. He planted that, but it was destroyed by locusts. A horse is jumping through a group of men. This was in Washington, D.C. in 1930. In Whitechapel, London, a young person's eyes wander longingly over the freshly baked goods in a bakery window during the financial hardships of the 1930s. It was 1960, and there were protests after a black girl named Ruby Bridges became the first to attend a school for white students. Ruby Bridges, the first African American to attend a white elementary school in the Deep South, 1960. Around 1870, buffalo skulls were going to be used for fertilizer. A young reader in the Park of the Champs-Élysées, 1947. Alright, here we go. Swimsuits and roller skates, Chicago, Illinois, around 1947. The photo was taken by Wayne Miller. A mountain chief of Piegan Blackfeet is making a phonographic record at the Smithsonian. The interviewer is ethnologist Frances Densmore. It's 1916. With her brother on her back, a war-weary Korean girl tiredly trudges by a stalled M26 tank at Haengju, Korea. 1951, September 6th. Actor James Garner leads the pack of Formula Ones in a still from the 1966 film Grand Prix. It was the first film to capture the thrill of the track by mounting a camera on a car. During the Battle of Britain during World War II, cows were painted with bright white paint to stop cars from hitting them during the nightly blackouts. In the late 1930s, Budapest tried to combat their high mental health problems rates by enacting a Smile Club, a club that taught people to smile. Even rock stars were young once. For some reason, I don't know why, in 1920 a policeman did this off a building in New York. London Zoo, 1900. Josephine Cochrane, the inventor of the automatic dishwasher, really shook things up in household cleaning with her groundbreaking design. It was the late 19th century. It's the 1950s and there's racing happening on the streets of London. The winter of 1905 was so cold the Mississippi River froze completely. Nobuo Fujita, a Japanese pilot, was the only person to ever bomb the contiguous United States of America. After the war, he was invited back to the same town he bombed, Brookings, Oregon. It's a motorcycle. The text describes an experimental motorcycle. It's a 1950s American mother feeding her baby. Hollywood, around 1900. (1925) Rolls-Royce Phantom Coupe, a 1935 modified edition with extravagant bodywork created by Henry and Joseph Jonquier. Fun with a fire hydrant in Harlem, 1963. Alright, so it's a vintage photo, and it looks like there are women smoking cigarettes. It's from the 1930s. After fighting a 5-alarm fire in Brooklyn Heights, firemen struggled to free up equipment completely encrusted in ice in 1980. Children are working as tobacco pickers during the second picking on Goodrich Farm. They're surrounded by towering plants in humid conditions. This is in Cromwell, Connecticut in 1917. 1840, the first picture of the moon ever taken. Marine Sergeant Frank Prater is feeding an orphaned kitten. He adopted the kitten after the mother cat died during the war. The year was 1952. Margaret Thatcher is standing with British troops after Argentina surrendered in the Falklands War. Soviet Foreign Commissar Vyacheslav Molotov signs the German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact. Joachim von Ribbentrop and Joseph Stalin stand behind him. This happened in Moscow on August 23, 1939. Groucho Marx and Lucille Ball goofing off at CBS KNX Radio Studios 1945. Alright, let's talk about the aerodynamic Dutch, 1965. The Missus, a real you-know-what with fake hands, about 1905. Sergeant Karen Hermiston, or Hermie, was courageous and determined. She earned a place in Canadian history as the only official female photographer for the armed forces to work amidst combat during World War II. Jones Beach in Nassau County sparkles with gals wearing the latest swimsuit styles, 1939. A bed without an electric blanket was created by Milton Fairchild of Washington, D.C. It was a contraption that kept a person warm without the inconvenience of covers. This was in 1927. Here's bodybuilder Gene Janssen with his wife Pat and their 11-month-old son Kent. This was in June of 1947. Okay, here we go. The text talks about a place called Misty Albion. It mentions the area is beautiful and the weather is wonderful. There are rolling hills, a stunning vista, and views across a valley. It also has a long winding river. The children had to cross the river using pulleys on their way to school in the outskirts of Modena, Italy, in 1959. A Langley researcher is observing a Sperry M1 Messenger, which was the first full-scale airplane tested in the Propeller Research Tunnel. The year was 1927. This is the first moment Princess Elizabeth met her future husband. When King George VI visited Dartmouth College in 1939, a promising cadet called Philip was assigned to entertain his daughters. A young clockmaker is at his desk during the 1860s. There's a description of wounded American soldiers inside a war-torn cathedral during World War I. If you talk too much, this man may die. Fort Hood, January 1943. The Imperial Gate of the Imperial City, Peking, 1901. Gajul was declared the world's heaviest Marne in 1899. The first-class lounge on the Titanic was a really grand room. It had a lot of panelling done in light colours. The room had a fireplace and it was surrounded by comfortable seating. There were tables nearby for card games. It gave passengers a comfortable place to relax and socialise. A man's wearing the Brewster body shield. It was the first body armour developed by the US during World War I. In 1900, the attire worn by Dutch men was greatly influenced by the prevailing weather conditions in the Netherlands. An icebox facial beauty treatment, 1966. The Hindenburg airship disaster at Lakehurst Air Base in Manchester Township in 1937. A British soldier proudly displays his damaged helmet, a symbol of survival amidst the dangers of World War I, 1917. In Amsterdam, Holland, in 1953, a milkman was seen peddling his dairy products, providing fresh milk and other essentials to the community. Vatican, Chamber of Busts and Gallery of Statues around 1855. Civil rights activist James Meredith grimaces in pain as he pulls himself across Highway 51 after being shot in Hernando, Mississippi, June 6, 1966. An engine is swung across a canyon over the Rio Grande River, showing off early engineering feats in New Mexico. This was the Rio Grande, New Mexico, around 1915. The Holt gas-electric tank, the first American tank, was built in 1917. '50s all-women's hot rod club, Dragette's Hot Rod Club, Kansas City, Kansas. Here's a young, fresh-faced Marilyn without makeup, a side that the public rarely got to see. Georges Tairraz II. Two climbers are traversing the Aiguille du Midi and Aiguille du Plain in Chamonix, France in 1932. This would have made a much better Sistine Chapel, circa 1960. Syracuse's 2nd Varsity Crew Squad, June 11, 1914. Wedding rings were found by United States Army soldiers near the Buchenwald concentration camp in Germany in May of 1945. First post-war cycle train alternative view from Los Angeles to San Diego, 1946. Newspaper faces a very common pose in the 1900s. Its work, Kilgore, Texas, 1939. This looks like a scene out of a cartoon, but it's actually a peculiar sport that was very popular in the late 1800s. Chinese children from a wealthy family around 1900. A family's going on their summer holiday in a Fiat 500, Italy, 1967. Marilyn Monroe, a teenager in 1941. A geisha after washing her hair before styling it in Japan in 1905. A young girl is holding her doll in one hand and her father has his arm around her and her brother. This is in Port St. Lucie, Florida. The date isn't specified. Richard Freiherr von Kraft-Ebing. King and Carter Jazzing Orchestra, Houston, Texas, 1921. Women factory workers in a cotton mill in Lancashire, England, around 1908. The Charnel House, World War I facial reconstructive surgery, 1918. People are waiting in line for the premiere of the Star Wars film. It's in Vancouver in 1977. Robin Williams, 1974. A Native American telephone switchboard operator is sitting at work at Montana's Many Glacier Hotel on June 26, 1925. It's a photograph of women assembling the Beatles' Rubber Soul album at the Hayes Vinyl Factory in 1965. A 15-year-old sweeper is in the spinning and spooling room of Berkshire Cotton Mills. This is in Adams, Massachusetts. The date is July 10th, 1916. So this person lost their nose because of syphilis. This happened to an adult in New York during the 1880s. Audrey Hepburn, wearing Dior for Harper's Bazaar's September issue, Paris, 1959. Girls are fixing their car in the 1950s. Sophia Loren, born in 1934, is an Italian actress. She's known for her beauty and talent. In 1961, she won an Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in Two Women. She's appeared in many films, and she's considered one of cinema's greatest stars.